Let's get to some of the action here. We have so much that happened since the last time we were on, Scotty. We did not stream on Sunday, and we missed a lot. One of which was you had Messi winning the World Cup for the first time, literally winning everything there is to win in the world of soccer. So, I mean, that was insane. You had the Correa news that broke midnight, 1 o'clock last night, where he's going to my Mets, which is the Mets are just like, let's just say they throwing them dollars around and just making it rain on players. We also have the Suns getting sold in the last couple days to this gentleman here you see here in the front row of our graphic. And you also have Franco Harris, who rip Franco Harris.
Yeah, we got a lot of that in chat, Chris. That one was crazy.
That one was crazy.
The details, actually, because I did see an interview literally like a day or two ago, and he was all over Franco Harris, the Immaculate Reception. The 50th anniversary was like just this past weekend, Chris. Like he was all over commercial breaks and like highlights on the outside of the game, and man, just all of a sudden gone. I didn't even know. Usually I know things before it's in the Discord, Chris. This one, the Discord updated me. So that one was rough to hear. I looked in the Discord and saw it, and then I had to check Twitter before I responded and replied. But RIP Franco, part of some great, obviously, Steelers 70s teams, and one of the most famous plays in the history of the National Football League with that Immaculate Reception and that catch. Gone. I mean, 72's way too early, right?
I mean, I feel like it is too. And it's just like, it was just one of those ones you just didn't see coming, which is what made it so shocking. And it was just like, man, you just look back on like the career he had, the iconic moments, and Rec, chime in here, man. You're the Steelers guru, and what's everyone saying out there in Pittsburgh? Like, what's the kind of the sentiment out there of like, are they doing anything special? Are they what's happening?
I haven't seen a whole lot about it. Now, of course, they are. I was already playing beforehand, but they are retiring the jersey this Saturday.
Okay.
They're doing this whole tribute thing because the schedule makers are massive trolls, pretty much. The Steelers Raiders game this Saturday is 50 years in 1 day after the Immaculate Reception.
Wow.
So this weekend is the 50th anniversary.
Crazy.
Wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it looks like they're doing a lot of stuff out there in Pittsburgh, and I mean, a lot of history out there, especially that franchise, historic franchise in general. But when you have those legends, oh man, it's crazy to see those guys, especially Guy, as he's been an ambassador too. I mean, he's just been all over it. So yeah, it's crazy. But
before we move on, Diacola does point out, Chris, locally here in Denver, and people may not remember this guy quite as much, but he was a part of that last Super Bowl team with over 1,000 yards from scrimmage. Ronnie Hillman, Chris, was running back out of San Diego State, I believe. Anyway, that played for the Broncos. 31 years old, in hospice, rare kidney cancer. Doesn't look good. It kind of came out yesterday as well. So it's more bad news to a guy that's 31 years old. And I mean, fuck cancer, Chris. Obviously, like, that's ridiculous for someone to have to endure that at such a young age. Seems incredibly unfair.
No, yeah, it's that was rough news. Obviously, you never want to see anybody that young dealing with stuff like that, much less, I mean, it just sucks, man. It sucks. So prayers up there. But yeah, from there, Scotty, we have other news here. More interesting news. Scotty, do you see who's in the back of this graphic?
I do, Chris.
I
do.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even. You decided to put this topic in here. I'm actually super excited to talk about my whirlwind of a day that was yesterday with Chiefs fandom. But yeah, that is Chiefsaholic right there, Chris.
Yeah. So news broke that super fan for the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's just say he was funding his traveling. He traveled to every away game. He was in the mix for, every, he's always at the home games, always super fan, always front row, just living it up. Turns out he had a way to fund all of that, and that was by robbing banks, Scotty. He robbed banks in his spare time. And I mean, it's like, wait, what? I mean, he was cashing in on robbing banks to fund all of his extravagant Chiefs adventures. Scotty, this is like a random one. I had to throw it in.
Why are our
super
super fans like the craziest individuals on earth? Between Red Extreme and X Factor, and now this Chiefsaholic Wolf that was constantly going on road trips. He's and all of a sudden, so Chris, literally yesterday, so he's obviously on Twitter all the time, right? And he goes to all the road games. And he was supposed to go to the Texans game, and no one saw him at the Texans game. So all of a sudden, it started being people on Twitter are like, "Hey, is Chiefsaholic okay? What happened? Can we get a welfare check?" Everyone on Twitter's like, "Is he okay? He hasn't been on Twitter in 3 days. He was supposed to go to this game. He wasn't in the seats he was supposed to be in." Everyone was super concerned, that he had health issues, right? Serious health issues. And then it transitioned in the second half of the day, Chris, to the release that he was in fact arrested for a bank robbery, where he held them at gunpoint in Oklahoma on his way. His way, by the way, Chris, to the game in Houston last week against the Texans. He was on his way. He's like, "I'll just stop off here and I don't know.
I need to make a He's like, I need to make a withdrawal."
This is not the first time he's had robbery charges. Every 2 years, and he's in his early 30s. He's not old. He's not old. He's absolutely a liar, and he's going away for a long time, Chris. Why can't we just have normal fans? The Chiefs fans, the super fans, I'm never going to trust again, Chris. Can't trust them.
Man, makes Barrel Man look like freaking Santa Claus over here.
Well, he was Santa.
He was Santa Claus.
Sounds like, he's in the Colorado History Museum, Chris. There's a tribute to Barrel Man. I don't think the wolf... There was a photo circulating yesterday that he wore that same wolf mask while he was robbing the bank.
No.
Not actually true.
No.
Not actually accurate.
I was going to say
a picture of some other guy robbing a bank with a wolf mask. So some people do it.
Oh my goodness.
Chris, what's interesting about this, he has, and he put this on, he posted these screen caps. He has over $100,000 riding on bets on Mahomes to win MVP and the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. And guess what?
Oh my God.
There's no law that says, hey, if I'm in jail, I don't get paid on this. He's still got over 100K just on the line sitting there. He's funding all these crazy bets by robbing banks, Chris.
It's crazy.
It's the crazy. Pat McAfee carried the story and went with it a lot today and was in love. The Chiefs fan base is absolutely certifiably insane. I love the Chiefs fan base. Every time I go back to Kansas City, secretly I'm kind of I'm glad I don't live there, because these people are a little off their rocker a little bit. I appreciate their fandom and their passion, but they're a little different. And the extreme cases of the fandom are out of control. So yeah, whoever rises up next, and maybe it's me in a mask, Chris. Maybe it's me.
Oh God,
I'll be that guy.
Scotty,
I'm ready to take on that. I just carry it on my shoulders, Chris.
If you ever become a super fan where you're going to every single game and wearing costumes, Scotty,
I'll be divorced, but yeah.
Yeah, you'll be divorced. Yeah. It's easy. It's easy for us to figure that out. Cuban Betty, Chiefs mega fans are the gift that keep on giving.
I mean, they really do. So I can't wait to see who's next.
Oh my! Don't trust Scotty. Got it.
Yeah. No. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Other news, we had some midnight. I woke up to this. G Girl's like, wait a minute, what's happening? G Girl says Judge looks good today, by the way, Scotty.
I'm sure he does. He always does, right?
He always, yeah. He's a good looking guy, right? Are we talking about like that kind of good looking?
Speaking of G Girl, real quick, I replied again on her Twitter, and she never replies to me when she's calling out the Chiefs. She called out the Chiefs again this weekend when they went to overtime, and I just said, "Why do you hate me? Why do you hate me so much?"
Yeah.
And no reply, G Girl. No reply. Why do you hate me?
Why?
Why do you hate my team so much?
Just keeps coming.
I
But
don't think so.
Someone go look at the overtime game and the yardage in that Texans Chiefs games, because it was about 550 to 200 in yardage in that game. Okay, it was a freak game. Don't worry about it.
So Correa, I want to talk about Correa a little bit. So if this deal is completed, so in case you missed it, he signed a mega deal with San Francisco. Then he went over to San Francisco, failed a physical. Well, there was some conflicting reports on doctors and failed, physicals, this and that, which opened up the door for other teams to look. Well, guess who came a knocking? It was the New York Mets, who are literally making the Yankees, like you said, Scotty, look like, or someone in the chat said it. They're making the Yankees look like small time at this point. Correa's, if it's completed, the team's estimated payroll will be around $384 million. Based on that number, the Mets would owe an additional $111 million in luxury tax payments. Their total payroll as of now is expected to be just shy of $500 million. In baseball history, no team has come within $150 million of that number. It's insane.
This isn't a surprise, Chris. Like, this is the franchise that's still paying Bobby Bonilla, right? Like, let's be honest. This franchise is a mess. They're just gonna buy. They're like, we're not good at like drafting or developing or doing any of that. Why don't we just spend all the money in the world to try and get a championship, a World Series win? Congratulations to the San Francisco Giants. G Girl said, I think Correa had an injury, cold feet. I think it was the Giants that had cold feet, which they should have. You don't pay Correa for the next 800 years the money they were going to give him. It's an awful signing for the Mets. It's an awful signing for baseball. Like I've talked about, I think Chairman threw that out earlier. He's like, every time these signings happen, like it gives Scotty's coming in hot wings. And it really does. It fires me up, Chris. I get mad. I get so mad at how dumb these teams are. I'm a little bummed. I wanted the Giants to have to suffer through that. I really did, as a division opponent of the Rockies. Now the Mets are just doing Met things. They're like, well, why would we keep one of the best pitchers in baseball? Granted, the guy's been hurt, but if he's healthy, he's like 1A in baseball. No, let's just sign Correa. Has Correa ever been the best player on his team?
No,
maybe last year, but maybe last year.
Devil Doc is wreck with you. Whoa, what did my Pirates do? They're eating crayons in the corner. LOL. Wreck.
Which is a better decision than paying Correa.
Yeah.
Wreck, what are your thoughts on it?
I'd have to check, but from what I heard, the deal was cut off due to a failed physical.
Yep.
Which was cold feet from to Giants. It was like, you don't fail a physical and then immediately get a $300 million deal from someone else.
Well, and to this, they have a couple years. They have a couple years to win a World Series, because if they don't, they're in trouble, right? You have the Correa signed through 2034. I can't even. That's when my mortgage is up, Scotty. Damn.
I'm gonna have to check your mortgage, but I'm gonna say bullshit on that.
I'm exaggerating, but Correa signed through 2034. Lindor signed for 2031. Nemo signed for 2030. The Mets could have 3 bad contracts down the road, and it could be awful for them.
What do you mean could? They will
Probably.
Will. Yeah.
But if they win 1 or 2 in the meantime, maybe it's worth it to them. It's just baseball. Baseball's so hard. Like, even when you pay money, you don't know how these players, they're not as consistent. It's not like the NBA where, like, all right, you sign Giannis in free agency, like you know exactly what you're getting, right? Like you're getting an all-time great, best player in the league, or certainly top 3 player in the league. Like baseball players, 1 year can jump from being like a top 5 player, and the next year be perfectly mid. Like that's the problem with baseball, and it's getting hot at the right time too. You need pitching, you need to get hot at the right time. Judge was the best player in baseball this year, right? How'd that end up? No, sorry, G girl, don't hate me any more than you do. But how'd that end up for him? How'd that end up for him? And how did he play in the playoffs? Like, and that's not to give him shit. Like he just had a few bad games, but it was literally a few bad games, and that's all that matters then. So it's just so hard in baseball to win a championship because you're so relying on them being hot at the right moment.
Exactly. Bobby Bonilla said, "Slow down, save the money, and pay." And pay. Sorry, it's scrolling on me. We have so much going on in chat. Pay the bills you owe. Did I just hear a third voice, or can I check myself in?
Just check yourself in, Broncos.
Just check yourself in, Broncos. Check yourself in. Well, check yourself into the Discord so you can talk about the Broncos coming up here.
That's Russell Wilson in the background saying, "Let's ride."
It's spicy.
Let's ride.
Yeah, guys, join in on our Discord if you have not already. We are going to be having you guys chime in. It's our 2-year anniversary. We want to have you guys, your voices heard. We haven't heard a lot of your voices, but we want to hear your takes on some of the week's games, week 16. So, we're going to be getting Reckoning's thoughts on some of the Pittsburgh. We're going to get Jokers on Minnesota. We're going to get Milwaukee's on the Packers. We're going to get Chairman on the Lions. All of you guys, we want to invite you guys in and talk about your teams. Eagles, I know Eagles are represented here. I know
football wife and
the Bengals and the football wife.
The Bills, but I haven't seen Moon Princess in here.
Yep. So, guys,
but she's not Moon Princess anymore. What's her new name?
Riley writes.
Riley. Yeah. There you go.
I haven't seen Riley. I haven't seen like the Riley username here either.
Okay.
So, other news, we have the World Cup that wrapped up. Lionel Messi, obviously the legend, the GOAT. I mean, he did a lot in this one, right? He became the first man to score in the group stage, round 16, quarterfinal, semifinal, and World Cup final in a single World Cup. They ended up winning this one this was the best World Cup probably ever played. Obviously, Scotty, we haven't seen a lot of World Cups. There's been a lot before our time. But the ones that we've seen, this one was the best by far. And I actually skipped out on... I went to church extra early so I could make it to this and watch the whole thing. And it got good at the end, which was fantastic for Scotty because I think he went and missed the first half.
I did.
So
I was a traitor.
Yeah. So this one, though, I mean, you had Kylian Mbappe had a hat trick and it wasn't enough. You had here's what made this special. You had 2 of the top players in the world going head to head, both scoring, both going after it. You had, a late comeback. You had the drama. You had the GOAT winning it at the very end to cap off a career that is arguably cannot be matched, winning every single award and everything across the board. So, this one, it was one for the ages. I said it on our Discord. I said it on Twitter. Man, it was fantastic, Scotty. For a guy who's probably not going to be back in the World Cup, go out on top.
Yeah, and maybe he will be in like a limited fashion in 4 years. Who knows? It's not like Messi relies on like speed and athleticism, right? Like he's the most skilled player we've seen in our lifetime as far as straight skill. Because he's not... I mean, Mbappe is amazing, and I love Mbappe, but Mbappe is an athletic freak, right? Like Mbappe is kind of like more like a LeBron, and Messi's more like a Curry, right? If you want to put it in NBA terms to simplify it for people here. But yeah, I think we were all kind of cheering for, France won it 4 years ago. Mbappe has already got one. Messi going out with finally a World Cup win, as he probably deserves based off his career. And hopefully this puts to bed the whole Messi versus Ronaldo, which I've always been Team Messi on that one. But congrats to Argentina. Yeah. What's funny about it though is, Chris, they were very, very close to blowing this game. Like literally, France had a great opportunity late where if the save didn't happen,
that was the insane save though.
But we're literally basing Messi's all-time history on like their goalie making an incredible save on a shot that could have sealed the deal for France as well. So that's how close it can come, just like in football, you know. Like, I mean, Brady's won what, 7, 8, whatever he's won, but he could have easily lost like 4 of those if one play goes differently, right? So that's the beauty of sports. Congrats, Argentina. It was a great World Cup. I'm looking forward to 4 years from now when it is 3.5, closer to 3.5. Good news there, Chris. When it's here in North America, and the expanded field will be interesting too. So we'll have more soccer.
Scotty's wall is fire. Nice work, says Broncos.
Do you guys like it? By the way, I didn't even see the results of the poll.
Who won the poll, Rick?
Which poll? The darker blue or the lighter blue? And then I'll tell you my opinion. Chris, do you have an opinion while he's pulling it up? Do you like the lighter or darker?
I like the darker.
Okay.
I think darker one, says Rick.
Darker one, and I agree. I like the darker. So,
Rex says if it's good with that, I'm going to bring in a soccer nerd for this one. Yeah, we could bring in who we talking about? Who we talking about? Health?
we got health.
Potentially.
Health, you there?
Oh,
Welcome in, Health. Hey, we're celebrating 2 years. We're getting you guys your voices heard. Welcome in. It's going to be a great time throughout the course of this show. We can't wait to hear more of your voices. Join our Discord if you have not already. Health, what did you think about the World Cup?
Honestly, it was one of the best matches that I've ever seen at this moment, and even Duck can tell you as much as me. And yeah, that was, I have to say it, Argentina pulled one of the best wins for this one, and Lionel Messi finally becomes the GOAT.
Yeah, no, it's wild. I lost you on Duck, but other than that, that was great analysis.
All right, in your opinion, the monkey.
The monkey.
I think it's better too.
Love it. Hey, Helv. So USA next time, right? You got next World Cup.
North America, Chris. Helv's going to focus on the North America side of it. Because Canada's got some locations as well.
Yeah, we got Canada's playing in some of the stadiums. US is playing in some of the stadiums. Even Mexico's playing in some of their home stadiums too.
So what are USA's chances in the next World Cup?
You have a pretty good chance to probably qualify out of the round of 16 because they might keep the groups of 4. And I already said the weird predicament on how that was going to work.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We talked a little bit about that.
Did you like my idea where it's like the top 8 get a bye and then you take the next 16 or whatever now that it's 48 and they play in a battle? I don't know, reward. I just that makes every last game basically match play more important.
I can see where you're going with it, and it's an interesting take. It's basically, in your opinion, like how the CONCACAF Champions League wants to run.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stop you on your thinking. I'm like, good luck.
All right. That's 1 for 1 on people agreeing with me tonight.
There
Chris.
You go.
I feel like we're just...
Count it as a 0.5. Scott, count it as a 0.5.
Hey.
We're going to round up on that to 1.
Appreciate you coming in, Health. Thank you for being a part of it. And
No worries.
Thank you for the support. Thank you for the support.
Yep.
No worries, man.
All right, guys. Next up, the last thing we want to talk about real quick is we have a little sale in the NBA by $4 billion worth of the standards. Matt Ishba has agreed to purchase the majority stake of the Phoenix Suns in the NBA's Mercury for a record $4 billion. And the current owner, Robert Sarver, is the one who announced it this past week. So Sarver obviously having a lot of issues being able to run things correctly with his business, his team, based off of all the workplace environment that he fostered and how the negative effects of that. And it was only a matter of time before this was a thing. But Scotty, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this one, but it was just kind of a big time deal here. It's escalating the value of NBA teams, by the way, right? Joe Tsai bought the Brooklyn Nets for an NBA record $2.35 billion in 2019. Prior to that, the Rockets sold for $2.2 billion in 2017. Clippers for $2 billion in 2014. So the prices are going up and up and up. Scotty, I can't. I told you we needed to buy some of the nuggets, right? Should we just buy the nuggets while the stock is going up?
No, apparently the stock has already gone up. It's too late. We missed the window.
We missed the window. We should have bought it at 1 billion.
4 billion for the Phoenix Suns, which, no disrespect to the run the Phoenix Suns have been on the last couple of years, but this is not exactly a marquee franchise. It's not one of the larger markets in the NBA. I am shocked, Chris. Listen, I'm happy. Obviously, they sold. Let's get the current ownership out of there. But 4 billion, or you could have bought the Broncos for 4.65. That seems like a no-brainer to me. Like the Broncos, and I'm obviously not a Broncos fan, but like for 4.65, or the Phoenix Suns for 4. This doesn't make sense. Like
it doesn't make sense.
And you just talked about the next closest sale was like 2.3. These guys were bidding against themselves. Like they probably could have got it for like 2.8 or something. I don't understand the 4 billion at all, Chris. But regardless, good things are happening because we get bad ownership out of there with Sarver. So that's good. But I don't. This price tag is insane to me.
Yeah, it's wild. So we'll see what happens with all of these moving forward. We're talking about business aspect of sports, and I mean, you're talking about NBA franchises like the Suns evaluated on the level of NFL franchises like the Broncos. Let's just say, man, NFL, those franchises are those to the moon.
It don't make no sense.
It don't make no sense. I'm just like, wait a minute. I'm just like, what? What is happening here? But all of it's getting pretty spicy, man.
Spicy.
So
love that spicy world. By the way, G Girl, I'm ready for G Girl to call in so she can apologize. I think Broncos is right. She needs to formally apologize with some of her tweets that are, not so kind to my Chiefs.
Oh,
I think it's appropriate.
Do we need to we need to have a heart to heart here on the Chiefs?
I think she's ready to apologize.
Well,
I think she's ready.
Guys, now we have a couple. What's up, Hauser? How we doing, my friend? Guys, we are gonna get into. Man, I don't even know where to go from here. Happy 2 year. Thank you so much, Hauser. We are here. We're live on our 2-year anniversary. We're taking your guys' calls in. We're like a radio show tonight. We're doing some new things. We're having some fun with you guys. I think we have one of two options, and I don't know if we want to put a vote on it, Scotty, or if we would want to roll with it. But I honestly think maybe we roll into NFL Week 16 and we get people talking about their favorite teams, and we can kind of go through some of the matchups. What do you think? And then also, we have a truth or dab right after that. Truth or dab, where we're going to be pulling some cards. I bought the truth and dab right here, hot ones, and you guys are going to be learning a lot about us. If we don't like the answers, if we don't want to answer those questions, we got to eat some of this. We have the hot sauce here. We're going to be eating some hot sauce if we don't want to answer these questions, and it's going to be fun. You guys get to know us a little bit more later on in the show. So
it's finally going to get spicy.
It's going to get spicy. Spicy. Oh boy, says Football Wife. But first, so I wanted to tease you with that because we're going to get into the hot sauce